Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing composition 1 again. We are now already on week 6. First piece of news, please take note of the assignment that's due this Friday. It's due the same day for both Monday and Friday sections, so don't be confused. That would be April 9th, this coming Friday, okay? So this lecture will be up, posted today, Sunday. This is Sunday. And it'll be up on Monday or Tuesday, as usual. Should be up on YouTube tonight, anyway. The thing I want you to take note of is there's a link on the website with conjunctions and transition words and several other, sort of technical aspects of putting together a paragraph. I found a pretty good website. It's mostly lists, okay? But I'll explain to you what I want you to do with that and how it's easy to use. It might be helpful for you just to make connections in your writing, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So first of all, that assignment on the gift, which I explained last lecture, that is due this coming Friday. April 9th by midnight, okay? Now we've been going fairly slow through the textbook. We've got to pick up speed because it is already over a month into the class. This is your first, remember, this is your response paper. So this paper you hand in is going to be graded. So take it more seriously. As I demonstrated when I gave you your feedback last lecture, some people are giving very short answers that don't really explain, don't support an opinion, an argument, or a position. That will not get you an A. If you do that kind of writing, that's not good enough for a university level, so you're going to end up being disappointed. So you've been warned. Now you've done a few homework assignments, and I've let you know that's one of the things. So we're in chapter 2. I am losing my voice a little bit. I'm attempting to record 3 or 4 lectures today, and a few of them got restarted. So even if I start to lose my voice and I take a drink, or unless I fall down on the ground, I'm just going to keep going. So bear with me if there's any mistakes, because although I'm recording, this is not live. I very rarely edit anything out. So what you're watching is like what you see in the classroom. So there's going to be a few gaffes here and there, or a few times I have to clear my throat, okay? So we're just on the second page of chapter 2, which is page 14. There's an exercise there that I've been doing for years, but I think I'm just going to take it out because everyone always has trouble with it, and we do it in class and I explain it, and people still don't really seem to get the concept exactly. And I think it's partly because the way the textbook words it. So let's do page 14 together here. At the top it says, we're going to talk about topic sentences. So this is the beginning of your paragraph, the beginning of your paper, all right? So you put your information at the top, you put a title, which is closely related to your topic, something interesting, hopefully. Put that in the center, and then you start writing. And the first sentence or two, especially a single sentence, if you can, should give me a clear idea of what you're going to write about in the paragraph. This is a topic sentence. At the beginning of every paragraph you start, you should have a topic sentence. Okay? Now, when you write an essay, you don't write a topic sentence in the first introductory paragraph because it's an introductory paragraph. So you sort of provide some sort of context, and then at the end, you write your thesis. But I'm not asking you to write an essay, okay? If some of you have written an essay before, great, but adjust, please, listen carefully. I'm not asking you for a thesis. I'm not asking you for 5 pages or 10 paragraphs. You can just write a single paragraph if you want. It's 1 page minimum, 2 pages maximum, okay? So if the paragraph gets too long and you feel like you're starting another separate point, but is still, of course, related to your topic, then you start a new paragraph, okay? And then you have another topic sentence. Otherwise, you have the one topic sentence, and that will tell me about the whole body of your paragraph. So this is how you do it. You want a clear topic. For example, a weak one would be, it's important to have friends, and it's also to do well in school. Those are two separate things. You want to narrow down your topic to something and focus on it. You don't want to say, well, friends is important and school is important too. If you want to talk about both these things, you should relate them, right? You should say, being surrounded by your friends' support in school helps you, enjoy school life better, or be more satisfied, or be motivated, or perhaps study better. I don't find that studying with other people usually helps me study. We usually start playing instead of studying, but you can make an argument there. That's an argument, but right there, they're just separated by the conjunction and. So you've got two things. That's no good, okay? If you have two things, they need to be related. And if it's one thing, then you need to be focused on something specific. So a stronger one would be, I don't think I will ever have a better friend than Heather. That's fine, but I would like you to go a little bit further. And that's just an opinion that's very general. So I would like you to say something like, Heather is very specific, but I have no idea who she is. So I don't think I will ever have a better friend than Heather because, and then tell me the aspects of her personality or her behavior or the connections between you that make her a better friend or the best friend you'll ever have. Then you can give me examples and explanations after that, and I know exactly where you're going to go. Otherwise, it could be anything. So just think about that. The topic sentence should allow me to predict what you're going to use, what kind of things you're going to say to support, right? So if you'd say she is kind or she is loyal, I'm going to be looking for examples of her doing that. Prove to me that she's loyal and that she will be loyal too, because you said, I don't think I will ever. This means forever. So not only do you have to prove, this is what your topic sentence is saying, you can't just prove that she's a good friend now. You're going to have to also give me some evidence. Show me how 10 years from now, she's still going to be your best friend and there's still not going to be friends as good as her. So you're going to have to provide, that's what's in the topic sentence. Okay? That's what I expect. So if you go through your whole response paper, let's say you're talking about friends and you describe how great she is and everything, but there's nothing related to you, jobs or future or when you're middle-aged or any indication that the situation is going to be stable forever, then that would be an easy criticism to make of your paper. You should just say, she's my best friend. She has been my best friend. She is my best friend, but she will be my best friend forever. So that requires a little bit more evidence of a certain type. You need to show how your relationship is going to continue into the future until you die. So that's what it says. Okay? This is the way arguments work. I know you might think, okay, that's not what I really meant, Professor, but that's what it says on the paper, right? So say what you mean what you say. It's even more important. You can adjust much easier when you're speaking, but when you're reading, people take what you say at face value. So you look in the text and you look in the words and you make the connections, and then if the proof isn't there, that's a weak paper. So your topic sentence has to be very carefully worded. Not everything in your paper has to be perfect. Argumentation is very difficult. And I go off topic, and I've been criticized just last week by my own professor for my own writing. The starting point is making sure that first idea and that first statement is clear, okay? Because otherwise, it's all going to fall apart after that. So, it keeps saying opinion in this book, but I always like to say position, okay? And this is what I'm going to say to you. What frequently happens is, and even in grad school, this happened in my grad school class a couple weeks ago, you don't really, when you're writing academically, you don't really want to say I, and you don't want to relate it. You want to have your own perspective, but you don't want to say I think and I feel and I like or I don't like, because that honestly is not appealing, okay? Unless you're a very like if you have 50 million followers on Instagram, you can say I like something and then everybody's going to agree with you. Fine, but none of us do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in my class, I think, okay? So that's not how you get people's approval. You have to be a little bit more objective, right? So you can't say I feel, you can say people feel, or you can say Koreans feel, if there's evidence for that, right? Or you can say most people think, or even you can say some people think. But if you reduce it to something like your own opinion, you have to be careful, because that's generally a really weak way to understand something, okay? You should broaden the perspective when you make a statement. That makes it stronger, right? Like I said, talk about a specific group, or talk about all people, or talk about something just make the statement. You just have to say it is. I know when you're speaking, you probably wouldn't say that because it's not very polite. You know what I mean? If I say, let's say something Daejeon oriented. The Hanwha Eagles are the worst baseball team in Korea. Okay? That is a statement. Okay? And if you're a Hanwha Eagles fan, you're not going to like that. It would be a gentler, and they're not the worst, but they're pretty bad. But it would be a much gentler thing to say. I think that recently the Hanwha Eagles have been one of the worst teams in Korean baseball. That is something that even a Hanwha Eagles fan might identify with. They might be like, yeah, it hasn't been, the last few years haven't been that good, but I'm still a big fan and I still have faith. That's how you talk to people. Suggest, feel, think, okay? But when you're writing, try to be more direct and try to be more objective. I'm not really looking for your personal and emotional response to something. I'm looking for your analytical response, okay? So I know this is a gift, and I know in this case it's going to be, probably there's going to be some personal feelings, like being touched in some way, like you're going to feel happy or surprised or excited, or I don't know. You might fall in love from a certain action, or feel. It depends. You're also allowed to talk about a gift that you didn't like, so you could feel betrayed or misunderstood. There's all kinds of things. You're allowed to, in those situations where it is revolving around you specifically, to say I. But you can also get around that by saying that present caused a feeling of joy, right? You don't have to say, I felt happy. You can describe the object or the situation rather than describing it from yourself. Okay? So try not to use personal pronouns too much. If you use them, make sure they're used in certain narrow personal situations. Otherwise, don't use them. Okay? Try to remember that. So In the book, they do. So watch out for that. An opinion or an idea about the topic. Week 1, I have been studying karate. Stronger. Studying karate has given me strength and self-confidence. There you go. You pulled the I out of there, and then you gave a reason, right? It's the martial arts, taekwondo or karate, doesn't matter. Taekwondo has given me strength and self-confidence. Then you have those two things to prove, and you relate them to martial arts and conclude that's why studying karate is beneficial, okay? So, clear topic, some sort of idea about the topic. That's what number 3 is about. Don't be too broad. So rather than talking about everybody everywhere, narrow it down to a certain age group. Just saying Australia is an interesting country is really, really too broad. On my visit to Australia, I saw many unusual animals still, okay? When I went on, you can do something more specific. In 10 years ago, when I went to Australia, I encountered a number of unique animals called marsupials, okay? That's still not much of a reason there, though. So it's missing that, idea from the second point. So you need to complicate the sentence in order to make it a good statement for you to build your paper on. It says you can go too narrow. It's possible, like saying your topic sentence can't be a fact. It can't be something you can't argue, right? I wake up in the morning at 8. Either I do or I don't. If I say you should wake up early in the morning because that's good for your immune system, or it helps you lose weight, or it's good for your mental health because it keeps the routine is good for your mental state. Those are all possible topic sentences, but just saying I get up early every day, or I get up early at a certain time, there's nothing there for somebody to be persuaded about. They're just going to say, well, no, you don't. You're lazy. You sleep until 10. Or, yeah, I know you do. So what? That's not the beginning of an essay. Getting ready for school in the morning is more difficult than any of my classes. That's a very subjective thing. And I prefer you not to go that personal, like I said. Try to get less personal. You can say something like, university students often have trouble getting up in the morning for their classes because of their erratic schedule. That's more specific. It's got a main idea. Now you're set up for talking about something that somebody can follow, right? And it's not your own personal story. So that's why we need to go beyond just what you think. Gather in some observations, think carefully about the topics, do a little bit of research, right? Do some analysis, give some examples, connect them together. That's how you start to put together a paper. We're just looking at paragraphs, but that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you organize your ideas following a good topic sentence. So they've got this exercise here. Circle the topic of the sentence, underline the main idea. Yeah, the topic sentence has a main idea in it, right? So the topic is the larger general thing. And the main idea is the phrase that's connected. It's the action or phrase or part of the sentence that gives you more information about the topic. And if you don't, there ends up being no reason, or there ends up being it ends up being too general, right? The topic needs to be narrowed down and to be given a reason in the second part. So rather than say main idea and topic, I like to say the topic plus the reason and the specific reason, okay? So these are not really that good, these topic sentences. They're just trying to get you to relate the topic to and expanding the topic a little bit. So this is how it goes. I'll just explain. Soccer ball is the topic. The gift I liked best is that main idea related to the ball, okay? Shopping for gifts online takes a lot of time. Shopping for gifts, topic, takes a lot of time. That is the control. That is the modifier. Okay? All of them are the same. They're all, you can reverse them, but all of these ones are topic first, verb, and then main idea. Okay? Ours can be a little bit more complicated though. Here we don't have any conjunctions. We just have verbs. So I would like you to do something more complicated, right? This soccer ball was the gift I liked best because, all right? These are unfinished topic sentences. They're not ready for our response papers. So same thing, shopping for gifts online takes a lot of time. So, right? So I do my shopping in a different way. This says shopping for gifts online takes a lot of time. I would have thought it was the other way around. These days it's a little bit easier. But shopping for gifts online takes a lot of time. So I prefer to do all my shopping at once on one day in one place, right? And then you're gonna have to explain. Most people are gonna disagree with you, the ones that shop at Coupang and Amazon and everything else. The last CD I received changed my life. Well, we don't really buy CDs anymore, so it would have to be the last song I heard by BTS changed my life because, and then you're gonna have to follow up that with support. Okay? So the next exercise, it's the same kind of thing we've been doing, except for you're just like we analyzed the paragraphs. This is not homework because I want you to focus on your paper. Just go through page 15, look at the options, and you should be able to clearly see which one is better. There's only two choices. Think about it. It's too broad, it's too narrow. There's no main idea, opinion, or reason. Add that there, okay? And your textbook there at the top, all right? There's no main idea or opinion or reason. I really like you to back yourself up by saying, just think about it. If it doesn't answer the question why or how, you're missing something, and you're missing something in that topic sentence, okay? And then the last one, like I said, more than one main idea. If you have, I'm talking about this, and there's no relationship, there's no causality, there's no exception, there's no addition to it. It's just two things that you like. That's no good, okay? If you do talk about two things, they have to be related so that they become one main idea. Otherwise, you've got two main ideas, and you can't write a paper like that. They have to be compared at least. Otherwise, they should be separate papers. Okay, so I recommend you doing this page because a similar exercise will be on the exam, and we may come back to this later around the end of the term to remind you and do some exam review. So just put a star on that page, like I always put a star on each page that I tend to teach and tend to use as material for the exam. So just heads up, 15 is not homework, but don't forget about it. The next page and the following page are the end of chapter 2 there. We're moving into the end of chapter 2. But since we're moving at a pretty slow pace, I'm going to just hold on. We're going to skip over chapter 6. Not chapter 6. We're going to skip over number 6 on page 16, okay? I would like you to do this for homework, and because I think it's a very important exercise. We are going to have a Zoom meeting. The conversation classes are doing it this week, and ours is going to be next week, okay? So, this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to do it for homework and hand it in as an assignment. I want you to do page 15 and 16, and I want you to write your own idea and your own topic sentence, okay? If you do your homework after you finish your paper, that's up to you. I just want you to have it ready for next week. But These exercises are designed to help you write topic sentences, which is something you have to do to start your paper. So it's to your benefit to do it sooner rather than later, but just make sure you're ready to talk about these things, because I'm going to take questions, explain, format things, and what the rest of the term is going to be like, and give you a little bit, get a chance to speak to you back and forth, which we haven't done yet. Okay, so this week is a normal week. That's it. That's all I want to do for that chapter. So just remember, in the Zoom lecture, we'll come back to 15 and 16. We still have a recorded lecture on week 7, but for the Monday class, you won't hear that lecture probably before the Zoom thing. So what I will do is I will post the Zoom ID and password into the Cyber Campus on the bulletin board, and you will be able to, get the information, and you should log on. If you're in the Monday class, you log on Monday, you'll see the time and the information. And if you're the Friday class, you log in on Friday. So date-wise, that's for the Monday class, Zoom on April 12th. And for the Friday class, that's a Zoom meeting on April 16th. One last reminder, first response paper, which is graded, should be submitted by the end of this week, April 9th. Okay, I know I went into pretty, specific detail about how to write topic sentences today, and I gave lots of examples, but hopefully I gave enough examples that when you're writing about a gift, you can look at your sentence and say, do I have the topic and the main idea? Do I need a conjunction? Have I given a reason? Is the reader gonna be able to follow what I'm saying? And when I prove it, are they gonna say, yeah, they're right. That's what they said at the beginning, and now I see their point. That's the ideal thing. At the conclusion, the reader should have a sense that the connections are strong and that your statement has been proven. That's the object, okay? So that's all for today. Thank you for listening, and I will see you again in the recorded lecture next week. And finally, we'll have a chance to talk in live time through a screen on Zoom on week 7, okay? Take care, everybody, until we meet again.